Welcome back from Mrs. to Ms. I'm Andrea. I'm back again with my girl Ozzy Osborne for another recap of Netflix's Age of Attraction. There's an introduction to Chris in this episode, which I'm dying to dive into because he just makes me laugh and not really in a good way. Would you still pursue someone if the chemistry was undeniable, but the age gap made everyone around you uncomfortable? Welcome back from Mrs. to Ms. I'm Andrea. I'm back again with my girl Ozzy Osborne for another recap of Netflix's Age of Attraction. We are loving this show. We are going through it week by week, episode by episode, and we're giving our opinions, the way we see everything, what we would do, what we wouldn't do. We're doing all of that. And things are starting to get messy after episode 2 already. So the connections are starting to get deeper. The insecurities are starting to show. And now that the age reveals are starting to come out there, people are reacting very differently than maybe they thought they would, right? So this week we're diving into the emotional fallout, the red flags, the chemistry that's clearly overruling logic. And the bigger question that the show keeps forcing us to ask, are we actually dating for compatibility, or are we still making decisions based on fear, judgment, and what society tells us relationships are supposed to look like? All right, we have got a lot to unpack. So we're going to dive into episode 2 today of Age of Attraction with Ozzy. Hi, Ozzy.
Hey, Andrea. How fun. I am lit.
So, not literally.
No, not literally, guys. No. Look at my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's 10 a.m.
Yeah.
But you do you, boo.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I think the younger people say, I don't know. I try to be hip.
Yeah. I like it. It's so fun.
My kids hate it when when I'm like low key, it's fire. They're like, Mom, from the young ones, right?
One would think. I think they need to learn from us instead. All right, let's dive in. So just a quick little recap of last week. If you guys haven't watched last week's episode, we talked all about the first episode of Age of Attraction. And we're talking about this because it really goes right along with what I normally talk about on From Mrs. to Ms. with dating and being intentional. And so this is adding in the element of the age difference of people in this huge age gap, not for everybody, but it seems as though the ones that are moving forward are the ones with the big age gaps. So I think it's going to fall that way. So last week we met Teresa and John. We did not yet know their age.
But this episode opens up with them in the promise room.
Yes. Okay. So they went to the promise room. We're going to talk about Vanell and Jorge. We're also going to talk about Libby and Andrew. We're going to talk about Pfeiffer and Derek. There's an introduction to Chris in this episode, which I'm dying to dive into because he just makes me laugh and not really in a good way. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start out with Teresa and John because they're both giving their age while they're in the promise room. So she starts first and she gives her age of
please.
54.
54.
Woo! 54. Come on down. And then we have Little John, or Prince Harry, as Ozzy likes to call him. And he is drum
roll, please. 27.
27.
Wow.
So exactly half her age. Exactly half her age. Okay. So before we talk about it, did you guess those ages for both of them? Like, were you looking at them and no? What did you think?
I always refer people I think I'll compare people to me because I think I look younger than my age. I'm 50. I'll be 51 next month. So I thought she was actually older than me, like by a lot more.
Disappointed.
Sorry, Teresa. But at this point, I'm still like captivated by them, right? But no, I had no idea how old they were. I thought he was older than 27, but there were so many
mature.
He's very mature, but I didn't
Hmm.
think much older than 27. I knew he was
Mm-mm.
probably in his 30s and just carries himself in such a way. And I loved how when they are in the promise room, how she was so concerned about the optics of what would it look like for the rest of the world, and
Yes,
he said, well, we can't control that. And
there's
that
that
was
maturity.
his there's that maturity. Like, he was just like, I'm not seeing this, I'm not seeing this, like, right, that
Yeah.
he was just so into his stance of, we can't control that, so let's just focus on us. And I love
Yes.
that.
I love that too. And I think it's interesting though, because I'm trying to think if I would be more like her or more like him in this situation. Because I think when you are the older person, especially for a woman, right, it's very intimidating of what the world is going to think because it's not viewed the same as if it was an older guy with a younger girl. So
True.
I feel what she's thinking and saying. Plus, she mentioned she has 3 kids. Her oldest son is 29. So he's older than
Yeah.
John. So I can see why
And
that would
youngest is
be a huge
22,
thing,
right?
which is not far off from
No.
John. No, and so she keeps bringing that up, and she's like, "Oh my god, you're gonna die, you're gonna die," but yeah, he is just like, "Yeah, but I really like you, like, I'm kinda in it," you know? And I do respect that, and I like that, but a little bit of me is, thinking, is he like, "Oh yeah, I got myself an older woman," which is a very attractive for younger men, right? They have this vision of older women and what they're like in every aspect. And I thought it was actually really funny as they were walking out of the promise room and they do like his little voiceover where he's talking about it and he's like, "No, I'm really excited about this. I mean, I'm physically attracted to her, I'm sexually attracted to her."
I'm
And I'm
emotionally
like,
attracted to her. Yeah.
yeah, and I was just like, okay. Okay, but I laughed that he started with the physically and the sexually before he even got to the emotionally, and that is probably what I see when I think of a younger guy with an older girl. That's where I was kinda
Yeah.
going with. Like, it's a kind of a sex thing, like a conquering thing. So that was interesting. He did stay calm. He was very mature and very reassuring to her, and he
Yeah, I
definitely
love that.
handles it better emotionally than she does, which I like that too, right? That
Yeah,
was
and then
pretty
he
good.
grabbed her hand and they walked out of there together, and I was like, "Ah, that's strength."
That's
I
hot.
appreciated that.
Those Yeah, yeah. So I like that. I think they're cute together. I really do. I think they have a chance
Yeah.
at this, right? Yes. Okay, so then we're gonna move on to let's do Libby and Andrew. They just make me laugh. You're kinda sorta. Okay,
You kinda
cute.
sorta.
Um
I'm kinda
so
sort of attracted to you.
it's
Yeah.
so funny. And I think in this episode, it really starts showing her age a little bit more than it did in their first introduction. Um, I think her cute little energy starts to feel kind of immature, and she is needing this validation from him, I feel like. It's a very I think you mentioned it last week, like a Taylor Swift fangirl kind of thing. That's the kind of energy that she's giving off, but he seems very intrigued by it, but he's also a little confused by it, I think.
Yes.
So,
Well,
yeah,
he did
which is
say,
wild.
yeah, he did say that he said it, I'm probably gonna butcher it, but just along the lines of, she is chaotic, but in a
Yes.
good way, which had me
Yeah, I think
thinking,
he likes it. Mhm.
yeah, of men's attraction to the chaos of the feminine. I've always been intrigued
Yeah.
by that, right?
Oh,
Like
what do you
they
think that
the
is? What is
drama
that?
and the I think it's something, it's maybe it steps them into a problem to solve. Maybe it like could step
Mm.
them in as the hero of the chaos. It steps them in as like it
Daddy
maybe
role?
brings relevance, possibly, right? Like that relevance,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, and I didn't think about that. I mean, yeah, I mean, because he mentions in this episode, she has to talk about his kids, and he says that they are 15 and
15
no,
and
wait,
5.
what?
Yeah,
15
15
and
and 5.
5.
Yeah.
15 and 5. So at this point, when we're talking about this at this moment, we do not yet know their ages. So, and it's obvious she's quite a bit younger than he is. Again, I'll reference when he says to her, he goes, "I feel like we're being, really silly and fun, and the conversation's very lighthearted, and we have this great banter. But I'm wondering if there's something more to this with you. Is there like more serious side?" And he says, "I know we're not really even complimenting each other," which I thought was kind of a weird thing to say. But
Mhm.
then that's where she comes in with like, "Well, first of all, I think you're kinda sorta cute." And I'm like, "Oh my god, like, come on, girl, like,
Yeah.
you gotta try
Yeah.
harder than that."
It's
So
interesting because I got the vibe that he is more of an introvert, and I think he points
Mhm.
that out, that she brings it out of him, like, brings the
Yeah.
extrovert probably out of the introvert. And also that he really was looking for, and he even asked her, "Is there a
Mhm.
softness to you?" It's almost like he wanted
Yes.
to, "Is there more to your silliness and your kind of chaos? Can I get
Yes.
to the softness part of you?"
Part.
Because remember, he's also, I believe him actually. I believe that he's looking for someone to be a good, not a replacement for his kid's mom, but just a good role model for his girls. And so I think
Yeah.
he's very carefully and thoughtfully looking at potential mate as someone that
Mhm.
he that is that, right? Like, I think it's very
Yeah.
important to him. So it sounds like he knows his values, he understands what he's looking for, he's very clear on it. And I really I appreciate that.
Yeah, I do too, except I wonder how it's going to be, if at some point she does meet this 15-year-old, right? Like, how's that going to play out? Like, how's the 15-year-old gonna feel about him dating someone so much younger?
You mean a few years older than her?
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
at this point now, they have both given their ages, right? So,
Yeah.
at this point, he is 38 and
Yep.
she is 22,
Yeah.
which I was
Wow.
right
A
on
year
with
older
that
than my
guess.
son, by the way.
See,
I was like,
like, can you imagine your son coming home with a 38 or 40-year-old woman at this point?
no.
No. Just a ran you're just like, "No. That's
I
not
don't
happening."
know how I would feel, but I think in the first episode I was sharing that I went out at 42 I dated a 29-year-old, and when
Yeah.
I met his mom, that was in the back of my mind, like,
Mhm.
what must she think? What must the whole family think? But because I feel that I have a younger energy, that
Yeah.
I just blocked it out so that I don't think about
Mhm.
it, because it would have talked me out of continuing to date him.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess the question is, like, at what point does youthful energy become emotionally exhausting for someone? Like, is he going to become emotionally exhausted with her, "You're kinda sorta cute. Oh my god, I kinda like you," that little
Right.
energy? I mean, is it, like, fun for now? She's cute. She's cute. She's got body. She's got a body on her and that dress
She's
she comes in
attractive,
and
yeah.
for the yeah, she's very attractive, and I'm sure that plays a lot of it, but, like, at what point, you don't see that as much, and now you're there with this youthful energy. Is he going to start feeling like he's with his daughter? Because his daughter's 15, she's 22, that is so not far off, and did she just turn 22 and the daughter's gonna be 16? I mean, we don't
Well,
know.
I think he strikes me as a caretaker, so I think it
Yeah.
probably fits the role for him. It was hard for my mind to
Daddy.
wrap, right? Like, yeah, it was hard for my mind to it just felt there. I definitely got the ick because I thought,
Yeah,
"Oh god, she's so young. She just
so young.
graduated high school not too long ago." And you're right. Will it be exhausting at some point, because he's in a different phase in his life? She's
Yeah.
just respectfully at her age should be out partying and having fun and doing the things 20-year-olds do. And
Yeah.
responsible for two humans and himself, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're right in posing that, like, at what point is that going to be exhausting? So I'd be
Exhausting.
curious to see what happens with this couple.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I even, kinda smirked when, they were sitting in the hot tub at one point, and she was drinking wine. This is before we knew their age, and I was like, "Okay, so she's old enough to drink." Like, they're not but then I'm like, "But wait, they're in Canada. That drinking age is 18 in Canada."
I
So
love that
I
you
was
knew
like,
all
"Maybe
that.
she's not." So funny. That really threw me off. But I do think they're cute, as in cute together, like, looking at them, I think they look cute together. He looks younger than 38. He's got a very cute, young, youthful look about him, so I think that's okay. I think I just would have preferred her to be a little bit more. Hmm?
Yeah, well, because apparently he stays out of the sun and drinks a lot of water.
Ah,
That's
is
what he
that the
told
trick?
her.
Damn it. Damn it.
I
I
know,
gotta
like,
get on that.
it's not gonna happen for
Gotta get
me.
We're
Oh,
too late.
man. Too late.
Too late, too late. All right, next we are going to move on to let's talk about Derek and Pfeiffer. I'm going by my least favorite couples to my favorite, by the way. So this
Okay.
is interesting. Yeah. Okay. So Pfeiffer and Derek. So we talked a little bit about them last week. Derek
Mhm.
also has 2 kids.
I just screwed us up again. His
Oh,
kids are
yeah,
15 and 5.
15 and 5. Yep, I just saw the same thing.
Yeah,
So Andrew and
Andrew's
Libby, they're 14 and 12.
14 and 12. That's right. That's right.
Okay, not far off still. Is she 14 turning 15? We're gonna stick to what we already said about that. Nothing to change
Yes,
there.
nothing to change. But yeah, so
Nothing
his
to
kids
change.
are 15 and 5.
15
So
and
you have a
5.
really young kid, and then you have a 15-year-old kid, and then you have
And
Pfeiffer,
then
who to me has, while a little bit mature, like I could just tell by the things that she was saying that
Mhm.
she doesn't know what she wants. I think she says that she does, but I didn't get the set. Like I didn't believe her. There was something
Mm-mm.
inauthentic about her. I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I don't get an honest, authentic vibe from her for some reason. I feel like, um, I don't know. It's just not clicking for me with them entirely.
But
I
I get the sense that he's a little bit more of an introvert, so he probably likes that. He doesn't. He probably likes someone who's a little bit, less like he wouldn't match with Libby.
No.
Like that would
The
not work,
You're
right?
right, you're right.
Right.
Maybe he just likes somebody that's just a little bit more subdued. She does have a little bit of more of a maturity to her. She did say that she has traveled by herself. I think she went to Austria or something by herself. That's pretty mature
Spain,
to do
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. So that's
Mhm.
something. What do you think their age difference is? How much of a gap do you think there is?
Mm. Probably a good one. She strikes me as someone who's quite young,
Yeah,
in her 20s,
yeah.
like probably around Libby's age, and then he strikes me in probably in his 40s.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I thought too. So that's an interesting dynamic. And
He doesn't look like he's in his 40s, but
no,
there's that like groundedness.
yeah, very much, very much. Do you think that men care
Yeah.
less about age than women do? Do you think they just don't really care
About their
either
own
way?
age?
Well, just about age gaps, about like they're just not worried so much about it as women normally are. Do you think?
No, because I think it's always been acceptable for an older man. It has to do with vitality, right?
Mhm.
So older men liking younger women, it's acceptable. So I don't think it's something that they even think about.
Mhm.
I think the other way around, it's almost like this exciting thing to
Mhm.
date someone older. I mean, I've met a lot of guys who've dated their nannies or their teachers, and
Yes.
so for me, it was always like, there's an intrigue in that, right? There's this
Mhm.
mystery. So that's always been more taboo,
Yeah.
and not as accepted. Do they care? I don't know if
I
they care.
know.
I think it's probably a more of an individual thing, but I would say they probably don't care as much as
Quite
women
as
would
much.
care
I
about the
think so too.
optics.
I agree with
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're now going to move on to Vanell. And if we recall from last week's
Vanilla.
episode, she was in a love triangle with her and Justin and Jorge, aka George, or
Yeah.
George, aka Jorge. So this week, it starts out, she is kind of hanging out with both of them again, and she's trying to figure out which one she is really connecting more with. And I think
Yeah.
it starts out with her kind of hanging out with Jorge a little bit, and she was talking to her girlfriends,
Hmm.
and she's kind of saying, like, I really like Justin. He's very mature. He has a nice job. She's like, I feel like it would be, like a good connection emotionally. But she's like, but my chemistry connection is with Jorge. Like, I am being pulled to
Hmm.
him, where she even said, like, he was standing at the top of the thing without his shirt on, and she's like, "Oh my god, his tattoos." And she's like, "I couldn't stop staring at that man." And I'm like, "We didn't
Yeah.
get to see
Yeah.
that. Wait a second. I didn't get that
Yeah.
viewing."
No, I think it was such an interesting triangle, right? Because
Yeah,
it's just the contrast of one another. You
totally.
have you have Jorge aka George, who's like this, they went on a date. So they show them going on a date. I really love this. I,
Yeah.
I really want to point this out because this is such a great example for women out there dating. They go on this date, and the date is that she gets to be blindfolded and he has to walk
Yeah.
her through the forest.
Yeah.
And it's such a trust exercise,
Yes.
right? And he kept saying to her, kept asking her to trust him,
Mhm.
and he was kept guiding her and asked her, "Are you okay? Are you good? I got you," right?
Mhm.
And then when they got to where they got to the destination, he took off the blindfold, and she's like, "Oh my God, how did you get me here? I didn't even
Mm.
realize it." And so it was just such a great example of what women are looking for in relationships
Yes.
with men, right? With a sense of trust, a sense of being led, the sense of, trusting that they got you, and where she
Yeah.
still can be herself, right?
Yeah.
She didn't have, she wasn't weak, she wasn't helpless. She was led. And there was something really beautiful about that. And then
Mhm.
the contrast of that is she was being massaged with
Justin.
Justin,
Yeah.
and, he could tell, like, he to me is very emotionally in tuned. He
Mhm.
could tell there was a distance
Mhm.
that was starting to appear,
Yes.
and he asked her about it. He was very direct with it. He was so mature about it, and he
Mhm.
asked her, and he also was very gentle with her, right? Just
Mhm.
like, "Hey, you could just tell me what's going on," and she did, and she had such a hard time expressing
Yeah.
to him that she was more attracted to Jorge than she was, to him, and she had a hard time even saying that, so
Yeah. And I was gonna
that was
ask
an
you, what did you
interesting.
think about, him asking so he's in there massaging her. She's, like, in her bikini, and he is lotioned up and massaging her, and he's in his robe, and he's like, "So tell me about your date with Jorge." And
Yeah.
and it was interesting because my boyfriend was watching this with me, and he did the, "Ugh," like that. As
Yeah.
soon as he saw that, and so I had to stop and go, "Oh, is that weird?" He's like, yeah, I just think it was weird timing because you have this moment with her and the time to connect, and you guys are doing something very
Mhm.
intimate and
Yep.
soft and peaceful, and you're asking about the other
Mhm.
guy. And so now what that's doing, you can feel Justin kind of sinking into himself a little bit, and he's fading emotionally when she's talking because she is not really holding back too much. Even though she was afraid to say it, she was still saying it, and she's just like
Mhm.
describing how she feels when she's with him, and I was thinking, "I bet he wished he never asked that question now."
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
and
But it
so
was really sad because even when he was being interviewed alone,
yeah,
he said that he still hasn't met the one, and that he is that this has happened to him a few times
yeah.
where something got in the way of something, of something happening with someone. I was like, pattern.
Yeah, yeah, and
That's
I
where my
wonder if
mind
he
went.
has a little bit of that too available energy, which I hate to say that, a lot
Yeah.
of girls, that can be a bit of a turn off where there's no chase. Ugh, we hate that, but, and Jorge is mysterious to her, and he's like this
Yes.
sexy older man, and I did laugh when she goes, "Yeah, I think he's a little bit older than me. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a little older than me,"
Yeah.
which we do get
She
to
thought he
learn
was
there.
in his 40s.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and so, again, this is the one you mentioned last week that her dad said, you know, "Don't find anybody more than 10 years older than you," right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
these yeah.
it was funny.
Yeah, yeah. So she pretty much tells Justin during the massage that she's just really more feeling it for Jorge. And so that really ended their weird spot to end their little, "Hey, thanks for the massage and totally feeling me up, but I'm going to go be with this man over here and feel him up." And so they kind of
Good
ended.
editing.
Yeah, yeah. And then they show her kind of spending a little bit more time with Jorge, and they are totally connecting, and then they decide to go to the promise room together. So now Jorge and Vanell are going to the promise room, but before they go in, she says, "I have something very important to tell him." And she tells us as the audience that she has decided, like, for the last 2 years to be celibate. after she has experienced this, but now she's going to be celibate for the last 2 years. Her faith is very important to her. She wants to be honest and have integrity when it comes to her faith, and so she's worried about telling him that. Um,
Mm.
yeah. Would you be worried about telling him that going into that? I think so. I would.
I'm trying to put myself in a 20-year-old shoes, because I
Mhm.
think the me now would be very upfront and honest,
Mhm.
and I'd be okay with that, right? The me then would worry about what someone would think of me, right? Again,
Yes.
this is why the show is so important for us to notice, like, the difference between, coming from fear at age 20 and really
Yes.
caring about what somebody thinks, whereas we're in our 40s, 50s, we start to
Yeah.
not care as much, and we're just, take me as I am. Here I am, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind if this is something you don't like, I'm moving on, right? So
Yes.
there's that difference. So if my 20-year-old self would care,
Mhm.
yes, I would be in
Yes.
the same shoes. I would care.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. I think I would too. And I agree with you. I think I'd less care now, like take me as I am or I'm not for you, you know. And we're so worried at a younger age about our image and how we appear to somebody and what they're going to think of us that, we're so worried about it. So they end up going into
Yeah.
the promise room and before they exchange ages, she wants to tell him this information about herself. Now, again, the
Wait,
boyfriend.
hold on. I want to pause this for a second, because I think one thing I didn't touch on was okay, so I probably would be afraid to say something of this nature, but also the ramification of that, right? Like, as
Yes.
a woman, like, I remember being in my 20s and worried about telling somebody that I'm not ready to sleep with them right away. And I would
Mhm.
sleep with them anyway, or I would go very far with them
Yep.
right away before my body really was ready to do that.
Yeah.
So, there is something here, right? Like,
Yes.
there is, now again, because he's older, he's going to understand, and he would probably be more willing to talk about it. Whereas maybe if she was to date someone younger, and she told him that she was not, she's celibate, and
Yeah.
she's not going to have sex until they're married,
Mhm.
that might mean something different to them, right?
Yeah,
So I,
for
I
sure.
think there's a big weight, I think, as young women, that we carry, or
Mhm.
that we've carried, right?
Mhm.
In worrying about, would someone stop liking us, because would a man not like us because we were not ready to sleep with him?
Mhm. That's a huge fear. It's a huge fear, and you and I are in this dating world, right? And so we know exactly
Well,
what
not
that
me.
you've been out for a little bit, but you've been there, and
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
grappled with
yeah.
that myself many times of like, "Ugh, what are they gonna
Hmm.
think if I'm not ready to be intimate with them?" Or, "Well, they took me to dinner. Do I now owe them something in return?" That has been a very big topic of discussion many, many times. So I applaud her for like putting that out there up front and letting him know it and getting that out of the way. I understand why she's nervous about it, especially with him being
Hmm.
older. Um, I think I would have been afraid of saying that from the aspect of him being like, "Girl, I'm older," which he did say. And my
Hmm.
boyfriend
Hmm.
likes to do this phrase, "Girl, I'm a grown ass man."
I love
And
that.
so he does say that. He's like, "Girl, I'm a grown ass man. Like, I respect however you feel. And if that's something very important to you, I can get on board with that. And, I've never experienced this before, but like, I am into you emotionally and our connection. So I'm okay with that." That's where
Mm.
that went. And she was like, "Whew, okay, great." And then he's like, "Yes, let's do the age thing. Okay." So so then they drop the bombs of she is
Mm.
27, and then he goes, "All right, you're gonna die when you hear this, but I am da 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 da
Da-da-da.
60."
60. Do we think he's older,
60.
though?
Oh, do you? I don't know. I thought that was he could be, but I thought that was already pretty whoa. Like I thought my age guess on
Yeah.
them was I thought maybe like 30, 31 for her. And for him, I was right up around 58, 59. I think he looks great for his age. I think he's a very attractive man. He's got that that maybe
Yeah,
almost
he
a little
carries himself very
Denzel
well.
Washington look, back in the day with, a little bit of the black
Yeah.
and gray peppered hair, I like that. Apparently has a great body
Mhm.
that she couldn't stop looking at. We didn't totally get to see that
Why
yet.
didn't we see
Why
that?
not? Why are they holding out
I
on
feel like we
us?
got robbed.
I think so. We want a redo.
I think yeah, we wanna redo, we wanna see Jorge's full body.
We want the lost little segments of the episodes.
Behind the scenes. Show us some BTS, please.
Oh, yes, please. So it's interesting because she is shocked, shocked, shocked to say the least. When she finds out he's 60, well over her dad's request for 10 years or
Yeah, she's
less.
like, "Daddy's gonna kill me."
She's like, because I got me a new daddy. I love it. Yeah, because he's gonna be older than her dad, I bet. Right? Or she might even say that.
And
I think.
and she could probably be his daughter. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
And so when
and oh, well, we're not gonna spoil it.
yeah, we gotta wait till we get there. But when
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
heard him say that, his age, and then I went back to thinking about her telling him about the celibacy, I was thinking, see, I just don't think that's a match. He is a grown ass man, as we've noticed, and he has been married and he's lived a lot of life. And he's a 60-year-old man who is not looking to be, who even knows if he wants to get married again. Right. And then now he's supposed to not have sex unless he marries her. I think that's hard to
Mhm.
do at a later age. It's easier for her at 27 than it is for him at 60. I do think that.
Yeah, and by the way, we don't know very much about him.
No, we
And I don't know if it's production and editing that they held back that,
Mhm.
kind of keep the mystery, but the episode 2 just with them leaves you kind of going, was he married? Like,
Yeah,
what
we
was
don't
his
really
past?
know. We don't really know.
Did he have kids? Did he not? Did he like
Yes.
there was too many question marks for me at this
Mhm.
point that I wasn't still sold on him.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, I felt a little bit of, and as watching this, like I mentioned, my boyfriend and I were having these conversations as it was going through. And, he immediately went, yeah, something off with that guy. There's just something I'm not, not getting a
Right?
good vibe, and I was like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, really? But he's really handsome. And he's just like,
Well, look, he's got the handsome part down.
yes.
He's got this like sense of confidence that's so attractive,
Totally. And he's
right?
he's the
Uh,
attorney. He's an attorney, right?
I
Yes.
didn't even know he was an attorney
We
until
didn't know
later
that.
on,
That's
right?
right. Oh, you're
We did
right.
not know that yet. So
Yeah.
again, we knew nothing about the guy. And I'm like,
Mm-mm.
but there was like a sense that he's holding back. There's something he's not saying, kind of left me again, not yet with an ick, but just kind of like curious. And I want to bring up a point, and that is when she says that, when she compares the both, right? When she talks about Justin, she talks about Jorge,
Yes.
and she says that Justin is like, they had a lot of deep conversations, right? Like
Yes.
probably felt more like a girlfriend than a boyfriend. And then with Jorge, she had this like, she didn't say butterflies, but she said this excitement, this
Y
attraction,
yeah, magnetic
like immediate.
feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we always say to people who are in the dating world, we being, when you're coaching people who are dating,
Mhm.
when they come to you and they speak about this attraction and this magnifying thing, there's always, I'm always reminding them about that being the butterflies, which is
Yes.
not an indication of that's the person for you. That's
Correct.
usually the indication of someone that's familiar to you. It's excitement and anxiety mixed in together to
Yes, your
create the
nervous system.
sense of like,
Mhm.
yeah, and so it's actually the opposite of what we think, but we've been trained to think that it's romantic to feel this way, that that's how we're supposed to feel with someone, and
Yes.
when we don't have that, we then we miss out. I think we miss out on wonderful people who could be stable and could be consistent. Because I would bet you, if we kind of took this back and she met someone like Justin in a different form,
Yes, or
that
without
maybe
Jorge
Justin would be, if
being
she
there.
was in a
Mhm.
correct. That it would be a complete, I would have been interested to see what would have happened if she continued on with Justin, because
Yeah.
I get the sense that Justin was I still got the sense that he's got, he was confident in his masculinity, but there was a softness to him that wanted to take care of her in a different way.
Yeah.
And he was still attractive. I would totally date him.
He was like your gym guy that you were into, your Hollywood star.
Not really, but okay.
No. You're like, no.
No one's like Jim. No one's like him. Well, now Jennifer Aniston has him. Thanks, Jen. She's warming him up for me.
That's all she's doing. She's like, I'm sending you to Ozzy Osborne after this.
Yeah. I don't smoke. I don't know. I'm sure, Jennifer, you're wonderful, but
sure she ain't got nothing on you. No, great points. I think I think those were really really great points. And what you said about the butterflies, they are actually warning signs that we tend to overlook and look
Ignore.
For them when we shouldn't be, right? Like we're with the wrong guy and we're like, ooh, and he gives you the butterflies, And then you're with the right
and
guy
when you're
and you're
her
like,
age,
I feel nothing.
Right. And when you're at her age, you're not going to know. You're not going to know that. You're not going to know that that's a signal for you to run for the hills.
Yes.
That you're just not going to know that. And so you're making decisions based on this butterfly feeling, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. This is how we learn what we like and what we don't like, right? This is how we train ourselves to get better at dating and selecting.
Yeah.
And it's just an interesting something for us to point out, because I guarantee you, if it was Teresa, right, like having that interaction, it might, that the butterflies may not be as attractive to her as the stability of someone.
Great point. All right, the last one I want to touch base on for this episode is Chris. So they introduced this new kid, Chris. So right in the beginning, though, he kind of says, they do his little side shot, and he says, so I'm into actually 3 women here. It's between Vanessa, Lindy, not Libby, a Lindy that we don't know, and then another girl, I can't remember her name, rockin' body, but you could see, like, as she's getting into the pool, she's all slowly slithering in so everybody can see how amazing her body is. And I was just like, I don't really see it with any of them. And then Vanessa comes over. He starts chatting with this body girl. I don't know her name, body girl. And they're having like some little conversation. And then Vanessa comes over and she's kind of like, I'm sorry, may I interrupt him? And the girl's like, totally, take your time, enjoy, have a conversation. And she goes away. And I'm laughing because he already mentioned that he was kind of into that girl, right? Physical attraction, I'm sure. And then he says to Vanessa within the first few minutes from what they showed us, he's kind of like, so I was going to come get you myself. I was dying to talk to you. And I'm just like, ugh, right? Like, dude, you just said how you liked this one. Yes. So that was kind of like iggy to me. And I didn't like that too much.
Time.
Yeah. And then they're hanging out in the pool, and she's older. She's older than him, clearly. And then they start talking in the pool. He starts giving her a little neck massage and stuff. And then they have like a little smoochy poo.
But she goes, should we kiss? Should we kiss?
If you have to ask.
Just a small one.
Not right. Yes. And just a small one. And then she goes in and you have soft, nice lips. And you're like, ugh. And then they start kissing more and they have their little makeout session. And so you're going, all right, what now? I am not digging that at all. And then I think it's the next day or later.
The next day.
Was the next day.
Yeah, it's the next day.
First of all, they cut to him. I can't even stand like the look that he's trying to pull off here. He's got like the little baseball cap, but with the bangs coming out underneath. It reminded me of like a cartoon character. I can't remember what this little pink hat.
Jersey Shores.
Yeah, it's so Jersey Shore. And then he's got some pretty big arms, but his tank top, I think it was a t-shirt that he cut strategically and rolled it all up. It was so no.
It was so Miami, or it was actually more Jersey.
Yes, but it was it was so icky.
But he lives in Miami.
Yes, and she, I think, got a glimpse of this, walked out, and her story changed. Now she's like doing her little side speech, and she's like, I don't know what I was thinking. I feel really uncomfortable. Things were moving way too fast. And she was basically out. She was done. Just like that. And off she went, And he's like, it's it's okay. Things didn't work out. I've had my eye on some others. And then the next thing you know, he's chatting up this new girl, Leah, who is not even in the first three girls he mentioned. And he's like, I've been wanting to chat with Leah since it all started. And that's where it kind of ends.
Okay, so I want to hit on something here
Yeah.
because something important happened in there. But I think, again, bringing it back to people that are listeners that are daters, right? In that couple important things that she mentioned. And again, who knows what happened? This is great editing. We don't know, right?
Yeah.
But when in the next day when she's like having a come to Jesus with herself, she mentions that she listened to her gut, like something inside
Yes.
of her
Her intuition.
said that this something is not aligned, right? Like this is not the right one.
Mm-hmm.
And that she chose to listen to it. And I think that speaks to, right? Like how often do we not listen to our gut and we just
All the time.
go with something, right? And
Yeah.
we don't listen to that whisper that says maybe this is not the right one for me, right? Which I thought was really um really good. Right.
Yeah.
But she did say it reminded her of other guys that she's been with
Mm-hmm.
that have love bombed her.
Yes.
Right. So the
Yes.
gut thing came from her sense of him love bombing. But what was confusing, I think, for the audience is that she didn't look like she was bothered the night before.
Not at all
So,
until she saw him with the tank top.
right. So then what happened from that? Like, we don't know, right? That's behind the scenes that we
Yeah.
weren't privy to, but something happened
Something
between
changed.
that moment and there. Perhaps
Mhm.
it was, she saw him, flirting with someone else. Like, who knows what was happening,
Mhm.
where she kind of was like, actually, I could tell when someone is love bombing me, and that's
Yes.
not, and good for her for noticing it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's really a really, really smart thing to make a move on that and just end that and see if there's somebody else there that's a better match for her. I like that because like I said last week, a lot of them are trying to go on in the show, right? And so that's part of matching up with somebody in order to move on, and it has to be somebody that there is going to be a polarizing age difference, otherwise it's not going to be the show they want it to be. So not only are you trying
Right.
to find this person, but you're scrambling to find the person that will help you get further along in the show. And I don't know how much weight that has
Hmm.
over them actually feeling something.
I'd be curious to know if that even crossed their mind, because I just kind of looked at her changing her mind as her age, as
Mhm.
meaning that she has had enough life lived to know better,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Our good old saying by Maya Angelou, when you know better, you do better. We don't
Yep.
often abide by that because a lot of times when you know better, we don't do better.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, like that's, her lived experience has been that she meets people and they love bomb her and then they disappear. And so
Yes.
it's a protective part of her, I think, that would just kind of step in and go, I've been here before. I'm not
Yep.
interested. Whereas if it was a younger contest, or not contest, but one of the women, I think
Yeah.
she might have completely, she
Just gone
probably
with
would
it.
have loved the
Yes,
attention.
yes. I definitely think it applies more to him wanting to match up to move further in the show than her. I think she's more there to find
For
somebody,
sure.
and he's just like,
Yeah.
"Okay, that didn't work. Who's next?"
Mm-hmm.
So, very,
Mm-hmm.
very interesting second
Good
episode.
stuff.
Good stuff, good stuff. So we kinda do just to give a little quick recap, we know the ages, Teresa and John, are 27 and 54, and then we have Vanell and Jorge are 27 and 60. We don't yet know the ages of Derek and Pfeiffer. And well, Chris is now gone off, so we don't really know that.
So we also get to meet Logan right towards the end of second episode, where
Hmm.
it was so strange because it was like the cut was just off. We're like, wait, where did he come from?
Yes.
All of a sudden she's like, oh, I also had this connection with Logan, and they start to walk and talk, and you start to see their chemistry together.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to touch base on that in the third episode. And then also, I believe they introduced another one, Leah and West, as well. And that was, they just gave us a very little bit of it. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yes, yes,
Odd,
yes.
odd, odd,
He
odd.
was
She's,
he was another like love bomber. Like he
yes.
he was just caking it on, and
Yeah.
she was, yeah, I don't know. I was a little sus. Like there were some things
There's
about
something
it.
on.
She's like,
she keeps mentioning
something up,
about that
right?
she needs to know his age, and I'm like, "Wait, did you not understand the premise of the show here?" Because she keeps saying it, and he's like he
Yeah.
literally says, like,
Yeah.
"What so what do you wanna know about?" She's like, "I wanna know so much about you," and he's like, "Well, ask, what do you wanna know?" And she's like, "Well, I can't ask what I wanna ask," and I'm like, "The only question that you have is how old he is? That's it? You've got nothing else to
Right.
ask him." Yet she
Right.
immediately walks in. They've hardly shown them at all. They're doing their first walk together, and they go sit down somewhere, and she sits on his lap. And they're just like and
Yeah.
then she's talking about, kinda his love bombing, and I'm like, "Girl, why are you on his lap?" I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know the time frame, but anyway, so we're gonna touch a
Yeah.
little
No,
bit more on them. Go ahead.
she's yeah, he seems like very much like, a love bomber and like really wanted to be on the show. That's the
Yeah.
sense that I got. But he kept telling her, I'm not as young as you think I look. He
Yes.
kept saying that.
Yes.
And she just was so worried again, older woman worried about, right? Like you could
Yep.
tell she's also older, she's lived life, she's
Yep.
been married before. She talked about her ex-husband and that they raised really great kids. They gave their kids
Yes.
like, so her
We
kids
know
seem
she's older.
grown. So we know she's much older than him. But he's like, I'll take you to the promise room if you want to know.
He said it so fast. And he's like, "I know that's a little
Yeah,
early, but
he's
I'm"
like, I'll do it.
he's
Let's
like, "To be
go.
all in like that, but I'm willing to do that with you." And you're just like, see right there, that's nah.
Yeah.
Nah, nah, nah. Not buying it.
Nah.
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 All right, so we got so much to talk about in the next episode as well. This one we had way more
Yes.
than we even probably thought. We were really touching on a lot of that, which I love. It's so good. I'm so interested to find out the ages of the next ones and to see who actually does move on together. So we will be back next time with episode 3, and we'd love to hear what you think. Give us some input, some feedback on what you guys thought, what you think about what we had to say. Do you agree with us? You can find me at from Mrs. to Ms. podcast at gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at from.mrs.2.ms. And you can also find Ozzy if you want to reach out to her at
Ozzy Osborne is OZZIEOSBORNE.
yes.
And that's on Instagram.
There it is. All right, come check it
Yes.
out. All right, we'll see you
Fun
guys
stuff.
next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.